Thinking about leaving your soul sucking 9 to 5 job, one of the biggest struggles I see people, especially as women, face is the idea of having that safety net, that enticing perks and benefits, and listening to that head trash of what will people think if I leave. I totally get it, and I've been where you are. That's why I created a free guide to help you if you're thinking about putting in that notice. It's called Unlocking Your Exit Plan. Discover 5 things you need to do before leaving your 9 to 5. This guide is filled with worksheets and steps so you will have hand holding along the way. You can download your copy in the link in the show notes, and again, it's totally free. Now back to today's episode. Hey there, let's face it. Today's internet world is so saturated and everyone is fighting for that number one spot to be visible. It is no longer about running ads and having thousands of people on your email list. It is about building relationships and networking with others to grow your business and become visible. Hi, my name is Candace. I'm a podcast launch strategist and I help service-based business owners develop and deliver their message to the world by using platforms like podcasting and bringing valuable content to those who need to hear what they have to say. Welcome to the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast. I have Ichko today. How are you doing today?
Hello, Dorsey. I'm really well, thank you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. So could you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. My name is Ichko Batmunkh. I'm a mindset and life coach. I help entrepreneurs, Asian entrepreneurs, and also immigrants help them to live the life they always dreamed of. But just 2 years ago, I was an accountant and pursuing my CPA, and I really just couldn't. Like one day, I wake up and I just really couldn't see myself doing it rest of my life. And also, like I just didn't think that was my passion and purpose in life, and I really want to find something that I love, but I couldn't really find in the moment at the time. So for a while, I was just kind of stuck mode, indecision. That's like kind of a worst place where you want to be. And until I embark upon a journey of self-discovery, that's when I actually like learned about myself, who I am and what I want, and also what I don't want in my life. And also like I found my passion and purpose in life as well, which is a life coaching. It's just so amazing. um and as a typical Asian girl, also by the way, I'm an immigrant. It was so hard for me to like go after follow your dream. It's just didn't occur to me at the time. And again, I'm a very like shy introvert. It's just, oh my gosh, how do I even do that, right? So it doesn't really match with my personality. But I mean, luck, thankfully I found what I really love. But I was just again now like in this obstacle, right? Barriers of my identity of who I am and how I pursue things, and I didn't even know how to deal with all of that. It was just so hard for me. But like, I had an amazing life coaches along the way who helped me in getting out of my own way. Because like one thing I realized was basically I was the only, uh, I had this in like a really good story in my head that that's who I am. And that's why why I can do the things that I truly want to do. I was getting coached on it constantly. So yeah, and then I just really got the courage to go after really truly what I really wanted. So that was the story. And like fast forward, it's been like less than 2 years. Yeah, I'm certified mindset life coach, and I've been helped so many people already. And I'm on a mission to helping people live the life they always dreamed of. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you feel like being an immigrant, do you feel like it was a little difficult for you to pursue the quote unquote American dream? Do you find it a little hard to do? Because I've noticed that a lot of immigrants that come over here to the US, like they go for something that that we may not have here in the US, but they had it back in their country or back in their home.
Uh-huh.
They set up shop, like they have their storefront and everything, and then they got their business going. And I'm like, how in the world they do that so fast?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's up and it's up running quick. So, I mean, do you feel like it was really hard for you to do so? Do you think that feel like it was a struggle, or more is when people say that the pursuit of American dream is real, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. So, yeah, I mean, for me, like when I'm like the whole reason why I moved to America is to pursue freedom and also opportunity, right? Because I really didn't have that in my country. So, by the way, I'm from Mongolia. So, yes, I mean, in the beginning of being an entrepreneur, it was, and then being a life coach, it's just really like very much entrepreneurial journey. And it was really really hard, to be honest, and because I had like language barrier, and I have an identity of who I am as an immigrant. I just don't feel like I can do this, because like the people, like my fellow coaches and my friends are all coaches now. At the time, like they speak English perfectly, they grew up here. It's just so different than, like, I'm just so different than them, and more I talk about how different I am then. So it was just, I was just like, constantly like doubting about my ability to how I can help people, right? So yeah, it was really hard in the beginning.
Hats off to anyone who comes from another country and come here to the US and pursue that American dream or pursue their goals to have a better life, and they do it. And I really admire you guys, because I know it can be very difficult. There's a lot of hurdles, and it's not only just a language thing. It's a getting your business off the ground and trying to find and do research, where some of us here, we it's kind of hard for us as well, but we have the resources and tools. We know what to do, but we don't even do it. But just to connect with people and try to figure it out, what you need to do, what to do next. I really admire you and those of you out there who do come from another country to try to pursue your dreams.
Yeah,
So
so I will add on a little bit of there. Like, yes, I mean, in the beginning, like after I moved to America, yes, I mean, I have taken so many classes, right, to learn the English, to be a better, right? So yes, but it was in the beginning though, like, and more you live longer, like, you kind of like don't have problem with like communicating with anyone else. I didn't really have any problem with that, but I think like to coaching some, I think that in my head was, how can I coach like native speakers? What if I'm not understanding what they're saying? And more I dive into it, one thing actually I realized is like it's not me. And I think all of us sometimes have this like misunderstanding of the language, right? It's not that the immigrant per se, or you have a language barrier. I noticed that even like, the way we interpret things is kind of very different than, when we pursue things, right, perceive things from one another. It's always, the interpretation is always different than anyone else, right? So that's one thing I learned, that I'm like, actually, so it's not a lot of to do with me, is what I get it. So when I even coach people right now, it's like I really want to understand what they're saying, right? Like, tell me more, what do you mean by that, right? So because like everyone has a different meaning what they when they say things. So that's what I learned. But I will say this, I think the entrepreneurial journey itself is already like very challenging, but it's such, at the same time, it's such a rewarding, right? And if you just never give up on your dream, so you will always succeed. That's the beauty of it. I mean, but I know, I remember myself, there are so many times I just want to give up. uh
yes.
I think like all of us, right? My coach, all I mean, I have a coach, and my coach always say like, well, if you feel like you want to give up, that means it's working. I'm like, what? That means it's working. That's kind of weird. Because like now, like I'm really diving into it. It's been really wonderful journey for me. and they always say like you have to fail in the beginning in order to succeed. I mean, my take on is like there's no way succeeding it for any sort of business without failing in the beginning. So my take on is like you can't, the only way we learn things is by making a mistake. So we just get to allow ourselves to make mistakes and learn from there. So yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. Your niche is to Asian women to fulfill their voice on self worth. That's very niche specific, and I love it. I love it so, so much. So, what inspired you to want to specifically help Asian women?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for me, that's my identity as who I am. Like I'm an Asian, I'm immigrant, and when I was going through like journey of my self discovery, even like just going through all of this, being an entrepreneur, I realized that like I mean deep down like we have like a big passion, but it's just so hard to like let it like unleash ourselves. I mean, at least for me. And really, truly, what I wished was that I wish there's somebody who can, who looks like me and similar and, who can understand me, just be there for me, hold the space and hold me high. Right. And because I have gone through that challenge in my life, and now I really want to help them to empower them to succeed in their own life in either it's professional or personal life, right? So yeah, so that's why.
That's awesome. No, I love it. I love it so much. So, at what point in your business, either starting out or actually in your business, when you had a hello moment?
In like I literally got into this personal development just 2 years ago. In the beginning, when I was going to this like personal development training, it's like a leadership training, like emotional, yeah, leadership training. So like throughout the journey, it was like a 6 months of journey, and I have like throughout the journey we had like a life coaches really there, like constantly like coaching us, and I really like that. Even at the time before I enter into this personal development, I didn't even know what the coaching is. I never even heard the word ever. So silly. But I did know the Brandon Burchard and Tony Robbins, but like, I would never think that I can have a life coach and who can help me, because like every time when I think about these big people, like I'm like, oh, like they can only work with the CEO, or they can only work with these big people, because they are the one who can afford hiring a life coach. So that was literally I knew about at the time just 2 years ago. And when I get into this training and I had amazing life coaches, they're just as good as anyone else, like Brandon Burchard or Tony Robbins. And oh my gosh, actually, like my takeaway is like, oh, I can be anyone. I can still have a life coach and who can help me to go and help me to succeed in my life. And that was like to me, wow, that's so amazing. And I love that. And I want to do the same thing to others.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. So that was the moment. Yeah. And now, like, if you look at it, like, there's so many life coaches who just really wanting to help you to succeed, right? Um, yeah, and I love it. And now, like, and if they can do it, so can I. Like, I really want to help others to live the life they always dreamed of.
Do you feel like, so do you offer like more than one service, or do you feel like having one service kind of speaks to your zone of genius?
Absolutely. So, like I said, I'm a certified mindset life coach. So, the way I help people is really, it's right now, it's going to be one on one, helping them to really just kind of like dive into their goal, right? And now it's like literally at the end of the year. Um, what I or how I help people is to like, uh, gain clarity in their life. It's either their career or either in their personal life, gain clarity what they truly want in their life, and really and just help them to achieve the goals. And a lot of us really like lose track like when we are uh, going through like trying to achieve their goal, right? And because if you have a versus when you have a coach who can really hold you accountable for weekly by having a call like weekly. So and at the end, like they can really get so much out of that. So right now, like I'm just really helping people like one-on-one. It's private. um just sit down and talk through their goal and discuss about it and evaluate and really coach through their challenges, their obstacles, their barriers. Yeah, that's how I help. And eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a group coaching. It's going to be also coming up soon once I fill up all of my one-on-one. So it's coming. Yeah.
Awesome. Good value ladder. That's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how do you, because I interview quite a few coaches, and then there's other coaches out there and people who probably want to be or looking into being a coach. What do you do to get clients or attract clients? Do you have like your own special framework or your own special
Yeah.
method getting clients?
So I have a coach, right? Business coach. My coach's name is Stacy Bayman. So by the way, if you're a life coach, here's my tip for you guys. So she has a podcast. It's called Make Money as a Life Coach. So she teaches us how to make money as a life coach, right? So what she like her basic foundation, what she teach us to make money as a life coach is really go out there, meet people, tell them you're a life coach, and so you can make offer and you can tell them you can help them. So it's just as simple as that. And what I do, I'm more into like social media, like I'm into like go to like Instagram and sometimes LinkedIn. And but also like I do go to a lot of networking events. Right now there's so many networking events where you can go and meet a lot of people and really offer your service.
I like that. And what people fail to realize is that keep it simple.
Oh yeah,
You
and
know, it's
we're
like,
really good at making it complicated. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think our brain is, trying to, be comfortable, trying to save us, and that's our brain's role to, make us safe and doesn't want us to make things like make it harder. So yeah, I feel like the more simpler it is, it's going to be more you can actually it's going to be doable for you to take action. When you make things complicated, that's when we don't do anything at all, right?
yes,
So for me, I'm like more like action oriented and take action and fail it and to succeed. Yeah.
I love that. Fail, fail, fail till you succeed. Yeah, I love that so much. We oftentimes have that fear of failure or fear of when people turn you down or things like that. But I think of
Rejection.
rejection, yes. It's still early in the morning. I'm like, my coffee, it did not kick in. And I'm like, what is going on? My brain isn't functioning because the coffee hasn't kicked in. But yes, rejection. And but people don't, what people don't understand is like rejection is actually, it could be an actual good thing for you and your business, because our focus so much is getting clients and having people, see you or view you. But wondering if that particular client is just not a right fit for you, celebrate the rejection. Don't be afraid of rejection. It's just probably just not a good fit for you at that moment. So yeah.
What I can add on that is I think that's so true. And one, two, like if you like, like really think about yourself as an entrepreneur, right? And like I mentioned earlier, like think about this, like have you ever anyone who have succeeded in their business without failing or without getting rejected by it? Well, for me, I never seen, and like literally a one person get succeeded or getting rejected, like yeah, succeeded without failing or without getting rejected. So you just have to know like what are you doing. I mean, if that's the path you choose, I mean, the only way to go like to succeed is you gotta go through rejection, you gotta go through a failure. So and really it's all about to overcoming that, right? So and that's one of the reasons why people hire a coach to, overcome that fear of rejection, overcome the fear of failure, right? My coach, what we do is I help people, like how I do is I literally make them to fail it in advance. It's really fun journey. So if you kind of like fail it in advance, ahead of the time, and when you fail it like in reality, and you don't take it as personally as much, and so it's like, oh yeah, I done it and I fail it. If I can fail one time, I can fail it twice, and just it's kind of like, you kind of, what are you doing is you kind of like normalize the feeling, because like oftentimes we're just trying to not to fail, and trying to prevent us to not to fail, and that's not gonna serve you, that's not gonna work for you, right? So that's the thing about it, you just have to be prepared and to overcome, and that's why it's so nice to have a coach, especially one-on-one private coach, who can just be there for you and support you to overcome all of the fear that you have. And here's the thing, like, why people hire a coach, right? They want to succeed, but they can't do it, they realize that they can't do it alone. So that's the reason why people hire a coach. For me, the same reason, like, I know that I'm amazing, I know that I have a full potential, but I have done so many steps without having a coach, but I never succeeded it, right? And because we are, one thing I know for 100% for sure is like, we are the worst enemy of ourselves, right?
Yes.
So so yeah, we judge ourselves, and we, all of the things, or we try to make us to comfort, right? So you have to go through that, and that's why, like, it's so amazing when you have a coach who can really just be there for you and hold the space, and also always coming from the place of non-judgmental, right? So I think, I feel like the people don't know the value of coaching, and but there are a lot of people already seen it and they already succeeded it. But I think the people who haven't succeeded is because they, haven't really invested in themselves to have a coach and to succeed, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Mm, I
my
love
take
it.
on. Good, thank you. Yeah, and that's really like my thing. Like the first year, like I hired a coach, and one time and didn't work, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasted a lot of money, all of that. But my take on is, the first coach doesn't work doesn't mean all coaches not gonna work for you neither. You just really got, like, if you are committed to your result, committed to your goal, your achievement, you will get there someday. You just don't want to give up to just because one coach didn't work, or just because one person say no to you, right? That doesn't mean you're never gonna succeed. You will succeed someday, but you just gotta, like, constantly taking action and learn from your mistake, and one day you will succeed.
Yes,
And it's
definitely.
possible for everyone. That's like what I like to say. Like, here, my story and my challenge was like, oh, like, what I used to tell myself is like, oh, like, I'm an immigrant, who would hire me, right? And or I'm an Asian, like, like, who would hire me? Who am I to help people? That was the message for me, and I overcome that. Yeah.
Everybody has that. Like everybody feels the same way. Like who's gonna hire me? I only know this, but I don't know that much, or I'm not an expert in this. If you know something, if you know how to do something faster or better, or it could be as little as organizing your USB drive or your Google Drive or your, organizing your email. If you have a
Mhm.
better way of doing it that's going to help someone, a little bit faster, or it's going to help someone be more productive, you're the expert.
Absolutely.
If you have a way of answering phone calls, like, hey, I use this script and this script helps me to get more sales. It could be something as little as that, but I wouldn't call that
Absolutely.
little. if it can help me get more sales, that's huge for me. They always say, as long as you have, if you know 10% more than what your students or what somebody else know, you're an
Uh-huh.
expert. Definitely.
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
So the way I look at it is like I'm helping people like the maybe at last like where were you in 2 or maybe 5 years ago, right? Really think about yourself. Where were you? And what did you like now? Where are you now? And what did you learn along the way? And right, so you're just kind of helping people who you were in like 2 or 5 years ago. So
Yes.
because you
Yes.
have succeeded so much already, and if you overcome a lot of things in your life, so now you're just gonna helping the people who have that same problem you used to have in the past.
So, any last minute advice you have for our listeners out there?
Yeah, so I think I really want to say I love this quote. Henry Ford said, whether you can or you can't, you're right, right? I really like this. If you think you can, of course you can. If you don't think you can, then so of course you can. So it's really all about to believing in you can or you can't, right? um, everything is really possible and all of the information is really out there. You just get to believe in yourself that you can do it and
Yes.
believe in what you do as well. If you're a coach, for example, you just get to believe in that you can help people, right? And also you get to believe in yourself that you are an amazing person and you're an amazing life coach, right? So you get to really believe in that, and if you don't believe in, that's okay too, because there are a lot of amazing coaches also who can help you to believe in yourself too. That's also possible as well. So what, like, really the last word I want to say is really, you're amazing, you are already amazing, you're worthy to have everything you want in your life. We're the one, again, you're the one who are the worst enemy of yourself, and if you can get out of your own way, you can achieve anything. The possibilities are really endless, and just go after, follow your dream, and anything is possible. That's really what I want to say to
Oh,
everyone.
I love it. Anything is possible. I love it. I say that all the time. I said nothing is impossible. So make the impossible possible in your life.
Yeah, currently I'm actually helping people right now to achieving impossible goals, right? So for me, would be my coaches are working on to making $100 million. My coach is already made like 7 figure, which is like over $10 million. I don't know, her goal, like impossible goal, is probably like 20 or 30 million dollar a year. What I help is also like I'm really helping people to make make an impossible goal and help them to achieve their goal, whether it's making $100 million. I mean, I'm sorry, $100,000, not million. I'm getting confused. It's $100,000 or like $200,000, whatever would be that you never made it in your life. So really, what I do is like I'm gonna help people to make impossible goal, and I help them to achieve that. So yeah.
I'm a note taker. So if you hear my pen in the background, that's what I'm doing. I love taking notes.
That's all good. I think it's so good
Awesome.
too. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
It was
So,
really fun.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, where can everyone find you?
Absolutely. So again, like I mentioned, I do hang out in Instagram a lot. So my handle is Ichko Batmunkh. It's IchkoBatmunkh. So if you can just type out the Ichko, like ICHKO, and you will see me. And my website is literally the same, ichkobatmunkh.com, and my LinkedIn is the same, Ichko Batmunkh, and Facebook is the same. So literally everything is Ichko Batmunkh. You're gonna find me everywhere on social media.
Awesome. And we'll definitely link those up in the show notes. Well, I thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I love your amazing questions, and thank you for that.
Hey, did you like this episode? And don't forget to subscribe and share. And also drop me a line or two. I will love to hear your feedback in the review. Thank you.